All right. On the bat. On the bat, if you put in a 4, you get 8 times 0, which is 0. If you put in a negative 4, you get 0 times negative 8, which is 0. 2 answers. Okay? Now, what is this all about? Let's say you have this quadratic and you want to know where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, remember, a quadratic could cross twice or upside down. It could cross once, or it might not cross at all. That's the 3 things that could happen. This one crosses twice. Guess where? Negative 4 and 4. Yeah. All right. Let me just tell you what you know about this. When you have a quadratic equation, if you set up y equal to 0, change y to 0, all the numbers on the x-axis, y is 0. Factor this. That's what we just did. X plus 4 has to be 0, or x minus 4 has to be 0. Because something times this, one of them has to be 0. So this has to be 0, or that has to be 0. X is negative 4, x is positive 4. So that tells us, first of all, what's the y-intercept? Negative 16. So we know it goes through there. You know that from the last chapter. We now know that it crosses here and it crosses here. There's your parabola. Okay? Now, this one happens to be where the y-intercept is also the axis of symmetry. Because, you know, the opposite of b over 2a, that came out to 0. But let's do one where it doesn't. I'm going to give you a quadratic, and I'm going to show you everything you now know about it. Y equals x squared minus 14x plus 49. We're going to make y 0 to see where it crosses the x-axis. Okay? Now, somebody said, why can't I just solve for x? Subtract 49. Okay, let's do that. Subtract 49, subtract 49, negative 49 equals x squared minus 14x. And then the kid got stuck. Used to be, when you had just x squared, you could just take the square root. But now you have this x here. So there's no way to solve it without factoring. So let's factor it. Can anybody tell me?
It's a perfect square triangle.
Good for you. It's a perfect square trinomial. X minus 7, x minus 7. Since it's the same thing, we only set up 1 equal to 0, because you're going to get the same answer. X is 7. There's only one answer. What do you think that means?
It only crosses once.
It only crosses once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Does it go up or upside down? Up. There's your parabola. Okay? Now, the axis of symmetry is obviously going to be 7. The vertex is 7, 0. Let's do one where we have 2 places where it crosses. On your homework last night, the very first expression was x squared plus 4x minus 12. Let's pretend that that was a quadratic equation. Okay? Now, if we want to know where it crosses the x-axis, by the way, where it crosses is called the solution, or the root, or the zero. You'll see it three ways. They all mean the same thing. Where does it cross the x-axis? The root, the solution, or the zero. So let's make y 0. Now, the answer was x plus 6, x minus 2. If x plus 6 equals 0, what's x? Negative 6. If x minus 2 equals 0, what's x? 2. Now let's think about everything we know now. We have, according to the original, we have a y-intercept of negative 12. We also are going to cross the x-axis here, and we're going to cross the x-axis here. Now, what is the axis of symmetry and the vertex? Do you remember how to do that? X equals the opposite of b over 2a. What's the opposite of b?
Negative 4.
Negative 4 over
2.
2 times 1, which is negative 2. So, negative 2 is where my axis of symmetry is. How do I find the vertex?
We plug negative 2 back in.
Plug negative 2 back in. So that's 4 minus 8 minus 12. Did I do that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's negative 16. All right. So somewhere down here is negative 16, and there's our vertex. So we have a parabola that does this. I'm trying to set you up for story problems here. Okay? Isn't it cool all the things you know just by one equation? All right. If you know how to factor, you know a lot of stuff, and you know that's the y-intercept. And if you need the vertex, we're going to do a story problem where a guy jumps off the diving board, and I might ask you, what's the highest point that he got up to before he landed? That would be the vertex. Let's say it's 112. Okay, the vertex means 12 feet, if it's in feet. Then I could ask you, at what point how long did it take him to get to the pool? We're going to factor it and find that answer. The reason that quadratic story problems aren't that hard is because the equation's given to you. When we do linear, you have to come up with the equation, but they are going to be given to you. Okay, so let's factor a little and find the answers, and then I'll show you how to do a story problem. All right, let's take another one from last night. Okay, x squared plus 2x minus 24. Let's make that equal to 0. This is number 2. And then when we factored it, we have x plus 6, x minus 4. What are the two solutions?
X equals negative 6 and
Negative
x
6,
equals 4.
positive 4. Let's see all the things we know now. We know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that it crosses here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it crosses here. What's the y-intercept?
Negative
20. Way down there, it's negative 24. That's just the y-intercept, it's not the vertex. How do you find the vertex?
B.
Negative 2 over 2a, which is 1. So
Wait,
somewhere,
would be 2. It would be negative.
opposite of b, oh duh.
Yeah.
I hate when I make a mistake on film. Is negative 1, so our vertex, our axis of symmetry is here. How do we get it?
Plug it back in.
Plug in -1. That would be 1 minus 2 minus 24. That would be -25.
Yeah.
So somewhere down there on my poster here is negative. Here, we'll just put it right there. -25. So we have. This goes through 4. Y-intercept of -24 down to -25 and back up through -6. Okay? I love quadratics. All right, let's find the solution for x squared plus 2x equals 8. What do I need to do first? Subtract 8. You don't factor until it's equal to 0. Subtract 8, x squared plus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Okay, somebody factor it for me.
X plus 4, x minus 2.
What?
X plus 4. X minus 2.
Let's FOIL it, make sure he's right.
Yeah.
He's right. So x equals -4,
And
2. That's the solution of that equation. You could plug it in and check it. -4 times -4. -4 times 2. 8. It will work. Let's put in a 2. 2 times 2 plus 2 times 2. 8.
Wait.
4 plus 4 is 8.
What about the negative 8?
No. I'm using the original to check my answers. Because if you solve wrong, you'll catch it here. Always use the original to see if it works. So, we know that we have a parabola that crosses at, what was it, -4 and 2. Or was it +4 and -2?
So would you write it down as x equals -4 and 2?
And 2. Now, if you have a perfect square trinomial, and you're only going to have one answer.
Yeah.
Now, on that, you had 2 answers. You could write it like this if you want. Plus or minus 4. Okay? I know how you like shortcuts, so there you go. Okay, let's do the next one. Y equals x squared plus 3x plus 7. Of course, we're going to make y 0 every time to know where it crosses. Can anybody factor that?
Pretty sure you can't.
Pretty sure you can't. You know why?
Because
It doesn't cross the x-axis. It's up here somewhere at 7. Okay? Now, the axis of symmetry, let's review that real fast because you have to do one of those on homework. It's the opposite of b over 2a, -1.5. Okay, so that would be like somewhere here. And then if you put it in, I didn't figure it out. It's not on your notes. But you plug it in, and you will find that you're going to get a positive answer because your vertex is up there somewhere. It does not cross the x-axis. All right? Give me the solution, the root, or the 0. This one's a little different. What should I do? Come on, you guys know how to factor.
Would you do
Oh.
b over 2a?
It would be, that's only going to give you the axis of symmetry to graph it. Well, I don't even want you to graph it. I want to know where does it cross the x-axis.
Would it be x plus 1 and x plus
Crosses at
1 and x
negative
plus
3.
3?
it would cross at -1 and -3. Wait, no, it crosses at 0.
Does it cross at -3?
How'd you get -3?
You take out an x, and then you get x plus 3.
Yes. You guys ever heard of GCF?
Oh,
yeah.
come on.
Okay, you got it. Everything you learned about factoring is going to come back now. Take out the greatest common factor. You guys had the right answer, but you did it mentally. Take out the greatest common factor. Now you have two factors equal to 0. One of them is just 0, and the other one is -3. Okay?
At least I
You've got to factor to get the right answer. -3 times -3 is 9. 9 minus 9, 0. 0 times 0 plus 0, 0. Two answers. It crosses there and there. All right? Try this one. -10. What do I do?
You add 10.
Add 10. X squared plus 7x plus 10 equals 0.
You get x plus 5 and x plus 2 for those.
X plus 5, x plus 2. What are the solutions? The root or the 0?
-5,
-5,
-2.
-2. That means, I want to keep reminding you what this means, that it crosses here and here. Okay?
Why are you so heavy on words?
I know. What's the solution of this parabola? -2 and 5. You can tell by looking. All right? That means whatever equation produced this quadratic equation, whatever quadratic equation produced that parabola, when you factor it, you would get -2 and 5. Okay? What about this? If I gave you a T-chart, and I'm just gonna make up numbers that don't work, okay? What's the solution of that?
It'd be 1 and 5.
1 and 5, right? That's not quadratic because it doesn't work out. But you can just tell by looking,
Oh.
right? All right. Okay, one more. I want to do the one you guys messed up on yesterday. 8 and 4 were messed up, both of them. Because this one gave you 3 times 20 and 5 times 12. 3 and 20, one of them was positive and one of them was negative. So you can't get plus 60. Okay, so when you factored it correctly, that was number 4. That was the correct factoring. Okay, so x equals 5, x equals 12. That means, one more time, 5, 12. What's the y-intercept?
60.
Way up here, 60. Okay. And then how would you find the vertex if I asked for it?
Be opposite of B over
Opposite of B over 2A, and then plug it in.
6.
Okay? You can do all that. You can do everything in this chapter. Now let's do a story problem.
8.5. How do you figure it
I
out?
swear the story problem is not that hard, guys. I promise.
Oh, perfect.
Take my beautiful picture here of a person diving. Okay?
Why is it fading?
I must have hit it. There's the water. Okay. Now, the height of a diver above the water during a dive can be modeled by this equation. Equation will be given. The y-intercept is
48.
48. Okay. H is the height. T is the time. That will be given to you too.
I figured it out.
Find how long it takes the diver to get right here. Now, there are 2 zeros here, but you will find out that one of them is back here, which makes no sense to the story problem. I want you to factor it first.
All you have to do is just take a GCF.
Right, that's what we do first. Now, the height is going to be 0 when he hits the water.
Yep.
So 0 is the height. Now, what's the GCF?
8.
Who said that? -8. You want to get out a negative leading coefficient. -8 times 2t squared minus t minus 6. Okay, now we have to factor this by grouping. -8 factors of 12 that give me, there it is, -1, right? So -4, +3. Look how this is all coming together. Okay, so 2t squared minus 4t plus 3t minus 6. Okay, now we're going to factor by grouping. -8. What's Grace come factor? 2t, t minus 2, t minus 2,
Miss Stone, you're 22 minutes.
plus, that's okay, it works now.
Okay.
Plus 3, thank you. Final answer, 0 equals -8, t minus 2, and 2t plus 3. Now, what the heck do we do with that? Watch. I'll erase this guy. We have 3 factors that equal 0. The way to get 0 is if that equals 0, or this equals 0, or that equals 0. So you have 3 things to set up. 0 equals -8, 0 equals t minus 2, and 0 equals 2t plus 3. Now 0 cannot equal -8. Add it here. Okay? Add 2, t is 2. Subtract 3, -3 equals 2t. Divide by 2, t equals -1.5. 0 cannot equal -8. Time cannot be negative. 2 seconds is the answer. Can only be one answer. So that means the diver standing up here is going to land in the pool or whatever he's jumping into right there. See, the other part is over here, -1.50. That's not going to have any, here's his dive. 2 seconds to land in the pool. Simple? What? He jumps
He's
up.
at 48 feet, right?
48 feet is where he's standing.
Right.
He
And it
jumps
takes
up to
him-
something. We don't know the vertex.
Right, but it only takes him 2 seconds to hit the water.
That's realistic.
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate.
You fall fast when you jump.
Yeah. 2 seconds to hit the water. Now, if I ask you, how high was he when he was at the highest point, what would you do?
Take 8. You would do opposite of B over 2.
Opposite of B over 2A, plug it in, and you'd find out how high he was.
Would we use the original equation?
You use the original equation, opposite of b over 2a. Let's just do it. The opposite of b over 2a gives you what?
Negative, it would give you 8 over 32.
Which is 1/4, which is 0.25. Can somebody with a calculator plug in? I'll write it out here. Somebody plug in 0.25. So, -16, parenthesis, 0.25, parenthesis, caret 2. What was it? Point, plus 8.25 plus 48. What do we get?
49.
49?
Yep.
Okay, look. Now you know everything you could possibly know. This guy jumps from 48 feet. That's the Y. He jumps up 1 foot and he lands in 2 seconds. 0.25, 49. In other words, he only jumped up 1 foot, which is a lot. I can't jump a foot. I have no vertical jump.
Same.
Okay? All right? And he also, the parabola is down here in the negative zone, but that's nothing to do with the story problem. That is quadratics, guys. And we're going to be doing that for 2 or 3 weeks.
All right, I can do that.
You can go for every lesson, bro. Quiet.